There is one kind of content coming out of Watches and Wonders I won't make, and that is sort of winners and losers, or the best and worst. The reason for that is I think it's impossible to judge this quickly. If you go back and look at sort of that content out of previous shows, inevitably there'll be things that people called massive winners that sunk without a trace, and there'll be watches that people called losers that went on to have really proud and successful histories. So I'm not going to play that game. But what I will do is simply list my 5 favorite ones, the watches which for whatever reason appealed to me and which I would, if I had the money, want to buy. Hi, I'm Pete McConville, and here I like to overthink, overanalyze, and just geek out on watches. Welcome aboard. Today, what I want to do is just talk about my 5 favorite watches from Watches and Wonders 2024. These aren't the best, they aren't the worst, they're not necessarily the most interesting. At least one of them is probably only interesting to me because I'm a collector of this brand. I'm not trying to be even-handed or impartial in any way, shape, or form here. So on that, I may as well start with that one, the watch which I really liked, and I was really, it's hot with me, probably because I love the brand, and that is the new Alpina Extreme Diver and GMT. I'm a big fan of Alpina, the brand. It's a brand that appeals to me. Its history, its ethos, its sort of vibe, all match with who I am, or at least who I would like to think I am. And so it's a brand that's easy for me to embrace. So I'm already on board to start with. Move from that, I really like the Extreme where they've got to. This is a watch case look that Alpena have been playing with for almost 20 years, almost from their recreation of a brand as a brand back in like the 2001, 2002. This kind of angular rectilinear kind of cushion case design has been a cornerstone of their diver line for some time. I think it was about 2020, 2021. They took that one step further, making it into an integrated steel sports watch kind of look, sharpened it right up, thinned it right down, added yet more facets and edges. And I love what Alpina have done with the Extreme line, to the point where I have bought myself already an Alpina Extreme. Love this watch, and I love what they've done with the diver. I love the direction it's gone. It's really modern and contemporary and forward looking, and it's all that stuff I really want to see. And so, yeah, I just love this watch. I will almost certainly be picking one up. This is a watch I can afford. It's probably going to go onto my list of things to buy. Having knocked over the Alpina, let's stick with a watch which looks a lot like the Alpina. Not for an instant saying that they copied, that's not the intent here. Just saying that they've clearly drawn from the same sort of aesthetic well, and that is the new Zenith Defy diver, not the revival. I could take or leave, not just this revival, any revival. I understand why they exist. I don't get angry at watch companies that do revival brands, do revival watches, but I'm never really the target market for those. I'm happy with the idea of a brand looking back into its history, seeing what it had, then drawing those influences forward. But I don't like brands that simply take an old design and pump it out again new. The reason why I like the Zenith Defy the Zenith Defy diver is because I think it's very much done that former thing. It's looked back into its history. It's looked back at the divers it did in the past. You can see the relationship by looking at the revival piece. But then they've said, but who are we today? Who is Zenith today? Who is our customer? What is our look? What is our signature? And where do we want to go in the future? And then from that, they've produced a really interesting dive watch. So much more than most other dive watches, it really captures today and looking ahead, whilst at the same time acknowledging that it's come from somewhere. And I just think it's cool. I just think the way they've done it is really exciting and it's interesting. The color combinations are fun. There will probably be more color combinations over time. It's probably a bit too punchy for me in terms of price. I think it's up around 15,000 US, 12,000 US. So it's probably outside of my price limit, but Zeniths tend to have fairly catastrophic resale value. So maybe I will get one on the secondary market. But yeah, however, I love this watch. Okay, changing gears slightly, moving up market and a little dressier. I absolutely adore the new Chopard Promenade series. Whether it's the weird rippling pond dial look or the more straightforward geometrical pattern look on the other two watches, I just love the Chopard Promenade. I really, as soon as I saw that, I found myself thinking, I would love to be able to afford to buy one of these watches, but invariably, surely it's going to be all, on application, super expensive. I was shocked to see that they are. I can't believe I'm going to say this. They're 30,000 US. Sorry, $30,000 Australian. I looked at it and went, that's actually not bad value. I reckon I spent about an hour thinking about how could I manage this. Would I actually want to sell off some of my more expensive pieces to maybe make this money? I came that close to putting watches on the market to be available. And I've left off the second good bit because it's simply, they're not playing any games. You don't have to be on some list. You don't have to know some guy. You don't have to buy someone you can't stand jelly donuts to be able to get this. You can just pay your deposit and it will come at some point. You might have to wait, but they treat you like a human being. So all of that, the way it was sold, the price, just the watches itself. Oh man, the watch, the case back is just to die for. I just love that watch. Okay, so now I've made no secret of the fact I'm not really a Rolex guy, that I'm not likely to ever buy a Rolex. But you know what? The Rolex 1908 in platinum with that ice blue dial, that turned my head. That is stunning. I'm not going to go on about it too much longer. It's just absolutely gorgeous. If it was made by someone other than Rolex, I'd probably be much more excited. That it is a Rolex does knock the edges off it. But even so, I can't deny it's a drop-dead gorgeous watch. And kudos Rolex, you've made a winner there. I love it. Okay, so my last one here is a watch I will never be able to afford, but it's just so gorgeous and interesting. And every time I look at it, I find myself looking at something new, and that is the Moser Streamliner skeletonized version. It is beautiful. The watch case and the watch bracelet and everything has been around for a long time. It's a really refined, really interesting, really unique look. The Moser Streamliner is fundamentally a great looking watch. I've never really gone over the edge. I mean, there's the Green Dragon and all these versions that people really like, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with them, but they've never really grabbed my interest. They've been just a little too subtle, a little too, I hate to say the word plain, but plain. There hasn't been enough in there for me. With this skeletonized version, it's all on display. Everything is there. This is such a good looking movement that has been skeletonized and treated so well. It is absolutely stunning. I will never be able to afford it. I will always admire that watch from afar, but I will certainly always admire it. Okay, so I have two honorable mentions here as well. One is the Hublot Big Bang in ceramic and orange. This is everything that Hublot is supposed to be. It is everything that Hublot does so well, and they just hit it out of the park yet again. This is just so much fun. This is just so Hublot. I just love it. It's great. Didn't quite make the top 5, but great anyway. And speaking of brands, just being themselves and doing it perfectly, the Chopard LUC XPS in green. Stunning looking watch, right in the middle of the best that Chopard does, and they've just knocked it out of the park. Absolutely gorgeous watch. Again, not quite good enough to get into my top 5, but, you know, deserving of an honorable mention. Okay, so that's it. They're my 5 favorite watches from Watches and Wonders 2024. What were yours? What were the watches that have you thinking, could I do that? Or have you thinking, I'm never going to be able to, but you know what? I still can't get that watch out of my mind. Leave it in the comments below. I've been Pete McConville. This is what I do. Overthink, overanalyze, blah, blah, blah. If that sounds like something you're interested in, like, subscribe, hit the little bell button, do all that good YouTube stuff. I will see you later. Bye.